hopefully I can help you do that. That's kind of the whole point. That's kind of the whole point behind what I do. Let's see if this works. Okay, back up. So I'm on WCRN radio. This is the one with Howie Carr, Woo Sox, and so I'm on Saturday and Sunday every morning there. If you happen to be crazy like me, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you can call in. You can call, you're not gonna get up. You're gonna call, you can call in and ask questions. But it's also recorded, so you can watch out. I've had just about every medical expert on my show. I've had orthopedic surgeons, I've had vascular surgeons. So we have a lot of medical professionals on. Also, you can go on YouTube, Wellness Wave Radio. I'm on YouTube, and I'm also on Lester Cable TV. Okay. Okay, so this is Trivial Pursuit, the Magnesium edition. Medical disclaimer. This is for medical, this is not for medical, this is for informational purposes only. This is not medical advice. The way I like to put it, when I meet with a client and I say, you know, if I were you, this is what I would do. Okay, but I'm not you. You have different genetics than I do. You have a different diet than I do, so this is not medical advice. Knowledge is power. So I'm hoping basically just to impart something. My goal here is, my mantra on the show is, I'm hoping to give you at least one suggestion that will make your life a little better. Hopefully a lot more than one suggestion, but at least one. And if I don't, you can get your money back, okay? This may seem crazy, but why are we talking about stress with magnesium? Anybody have an idea why we're talking about stress with magnesium?
Deficient.
What's that?
I said it's deficient.
Yeah. What happens is we're all living in a very stressful time right now. I know we've had a lot of teachers around here. 50% of all kids right now are in a constant state of stress. Okay, constantly stressed. Even us, as we're older, we're still in stress. We got things going on. We got sick spouses. We got this. We got that. So we're in stress. Girls, much more so than boys. These girls. If you have, kids or grandkids, there's so much pressure to fit in, right? To fit into society and stuff like that. So there's an awful lot of pressure. But again, you guys, the stress, right? Stress. This will relate very specifically to magnesium. Stress levels are really, really high. Again, according to this study, people experience, work pressure, financial pressure. What's that?
She said cat.
Cat pressure. Oh, first question. What hormone is known as the stress hormone? Anybody? Nobody?
No, that's all I got here.
Oh, God. Okay. Cortisol. Okay, so cortisol. So what happens is when we're stressed, I like to say we're basically smart monkeys, okay? So just like if right now a tiger walked in the room, your cortisol would go through the roof because we have two prime directives as smart monkeys. One of them is not to die. We're not supposed to die. Number one is to procreate. So we're hardwired. All animals are hardwired for that. And contrary, people may tell you we actually are animals. Okay. Anybody know what cortisol is produced?
What is it? What is it?
Cortisol is a stress hormone.
Oh, in the gut.
No. Okay. Too hard. Question too hard. Okay. The adrenal glands. Okay. Kidneys. It's at the very top. There's an expression called adrenal fatigue. It means you're stressed all the time. You burn out your adrenal glands. And that's why people sometimes, if they're constantly stressed, you're exhausted, right? You're exhausted because you can't produce any more cortisol. Cortisol keeps you alive, basically. What happens in the morning, your cortisol levels spike. We covered this. We covered this. With your husband. You wake up in the morning because we have to wake up and walk around. So your cortisol goes up. But as the day goes on, your cortisol starts going down, down, down because you want to go to sleep, right? But if you're still producing cortisol, like all of a sudden, if your spouse yells at you, your cortisol goes up, you may have trouble going to, no, it doesn't happen.
Not anymore.
So what happens is you get stressed. And if it happens to you where you're ready to go to bed and you got a phone call or something and you get something and you can't sleep, it's because you're raising your cortisol. You're raising your cortisol. So cortisol does a lot of stuff. It keeps you alive, but if it's constantly being given out all the time, you burn out your poor adrenal glands. Okay, this is what the topic's about. Magnesium to reduce stress and anxiety. So almost everybody is magnesium deficient in this room. Almost everybody's magnesium deficient. And magnesium is responsible for not only stress, it's involved in so many different functions in your body. So you really need magnesium. Okay, if you guys ever read a book, this is the great book. This is Robert Sapolsky. He's a professor out of Stanford, arguably one of the greatest colleges in the country. And this actually is the textbook for his thing on evolutionary biology. So actually I give this to the Stanford students. Okay, so if you read this book, it's very readable. It's not too much technicality in it. It explains to you basically cortisol and what's going on. So you can understand why zebras don't get ulcers and we do, okay? Here's the zebra. Nice little zebra. He's in the middle. He's going to eat the grass. Everything is wonderful. And then all of a sudden, the lion comes out. So right now, imagine the cortisol on this zebra right now. It's going through the roof because all that cortisol is putting all of the energy into the zebra's muscles. So the zebra can run away. So he's running away. Only one or two things are going to happen with this zebra. The lion's going to catch him or he's going to escape. One or two things, only one or two outcomes. Have you guys ever heard the expression pooping your pants? Yeah. Okay. What happens is when you're this scared or peeing your pants, right? If you, what you like, you like. He loves this stuff. I'm not using any swear words, though, am I? So what happens is you get so scared that basically, in order to survive, he's going to dump everything. Any feces he has in him, any urine, he's dumping. Right, Miss Farm Lady? Yep. So that's what happens is you shut down your reproduction because you don't care about reproducing because you're going to get eaten. Number two is that you're not worried about your immune system. All your energy is shut down. It all goes to your muscles. All the energy goes to your muscles so you can run away, okay? So this is what happens with the stress response. He escaped. Yay for the zebra. So Mr. Zebra now, he's escaped. Do you think that zebra is worrying about the lion again? Yes. You think he is? Not really. Once they escape, there's a very famous book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. Buddhists talk about this. You live in the now. You're only living in right now. What happens when that zebra escapes, the zebra's calm. He just doesn't, well, he may be worried for a little while, but he's not perseverating, right? He's not thinking 2 days from now, that lion chased me the other day. He's calm. The zebra's calm. Humans worry about the past and future events, right? Yes. Right? So what about, maybe you're lying in bed and you're thinking about something. Am I going to lose my job? Is my spouse sick? Is this? You're perseverating on this stuff. Animals don't do this. Animals don't lay around and start thinking about stuff. We're the only smart monkeys that wind up doing this stuff and thinking about this stuff. So we perseverate. Now what happens is once that zebra escapes, he's gone. But we perseverate. Somebody cut you off in traffic, right? They cut you off in traffic, what happens? Steam's coming out of your ears, you're like, ugh. Once that genie gets out of the bottle, once you release all those corticosteroids out of your body, you're staying there. You're in a constant state of stress. Your cortisol is being released. You having all this stuff. Some people think I still am. I was a real jerk at one time. Maybe not so much of a jerk now. So I used to get so mad at people when they used to pull in front of me. And I would just go nuts. And I would beat my horn and this, and this. It would really, really bother me. I've got my son, who's had, unfortunately, the same thing that I had. He came in one day to New Kitchen, in fact, and he could steam coming out of his ear. He walks in. That guy pulled me about, and I followed him. And you know what? I got so mad, I slammed to my roof, and I hurt my hand. Good job, you know. You really showed him. You really showed him. So think about it. What happens is that stress is going to stay in your body. He's shutting down his immune system. If you're stressed, chronically stressed, you're going to come down with what they call an autoimmune disease. Because what happens is your body has shut down it's a whole immune system. It's shut it down. What happens is you guys have heard of shingles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Shingles is caused by the old chickenpox virus. It's called the zoster virus. You have the zoster virus, and we all have it in us. We also have, anybody here ever had mononucleosis? Okay. Mononucleosis is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. That's also what they call a herpes virus. You know, herpes with the thing on your mouth. Herpes 1, simplex 1, herpes simplex 2. It's in your body right now. It's in there right now. It's waiting. It's waiting for your immune system to shut down, and it comes out. I had a client that came to see me, a young Brazilian girl, and she just to do with basically with nutrition. And I sat down. I said, you know, your problem is not nutrition. You're stressed to the nines. I can see it in your face. This girl, 30 years old, came down with shingles. 30 years old. Usually what happens, our immune systems start breaking down as we get older, okay? This is a young girl, so stress does a job on you. It's gonna make you sick. So, if you know whatever you need to do, basically you just try to calm down, meditate, yoga, you know, whatever you can do with that. Good. Where are my slides?
Did you ever have shingles?
Don't get stressed.
That's you.
Oh, here we go.
Past and the future.
Yeah, I do.
That's you.
Me too.
You too.
Vicious cycle, okay? So what happens is you get your stress, it goes into your adrenals, you got cortical secretion, and what happens is it pulls magnesium out of your body. So you deplete your magnesium. Also goes to muscle contraction, and you get magnesium leakage. So the more stressed you are, the more magnesium you leak. And magnesium is the stress calming hormone. So you're forming a vicious cycle, okay? There's magnesium, I guess anybody cares. Top things: improves sleep quality, reduces stress, improves mental performance. There's a specific type of magnesium we'll talk about that crosses the blood-brain barrier. It helps with your cognition, improves your immune system, reduces muscle tension. Lucille, you're talking about, you know, muscle cramps, right? Anybody have muscle cramps at night?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awful. I mean, muscle cramps are the worst. When you get those, right, you have to get up out of bed. You have to, like, for 5 minutes because it hurts so much. It's the worst thing. I used to coach the Becker College tennis team and the Worcester State College tennis team, and I used to play a lot of tennis. And I played in this tournament once, and I was an idiot. And so I'm playing this like 90-degree weather, totally cramped up, because I was just drinking water, but I wasn't drinking any electrolytes. You know, so that was before I was a biochemist. So basically, what happens? Same thing with soccer players and stuff like that. What happens is if you don't have enough magnesium, your muscles are going to cramp up. Okay, we talked about that. You know, it's heart health, digestion, sleep, blood sugar. It also mentioned it helps with your blood sugar regulation. So that's why it's so important. It doesn't do just one thing. It does a lot of different things. Okay, we kind of talked about that. Oh, it helps with constipation. There's a
Not constant.
there is a very specific type of it's actually I'll give you that it's called magnesium citrate. You guys, I'm assuming most of you guys have had a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that drink you take? Magnesium citrate. It's heavy doses. It is disgusting. So what it does is it pulls all the water into your gut and gets it out. So they give you a mega dose of that. So obviously if you have loose stools, you don't want to be taking magnesium citrate. So there's different types of magnesium. It's called chelated. So the magnesium is bound to something else, okay? So I'm going to go over the different ones. So not all magnesium is the same. You have to know exactly what you're taking. Okay. Anybody?
Old age.
Actually, you're right, but I'm not going to give it to you. Actually, you're actually right.
Pharmaceutical drugs.
You're hot.
Okay, who said heart?
Heart.
Okay, Vanna.
I got it.
Actually, you're right. There's a very famous scientist out of Harvard. His name is
Why, thank you. You're welcome.
David Sinclair.
I should have said
And
it.
he said, actually, the number one cause of death is old age. Because think about it, we're all going to die.
Yeah,
So he's going to the government trying to get all these grants to try to find a way to live longer and live healthier. Okay? People joke with me all the time. They say, oh, you want to live forever. I says, no, I don't want to live forever. I want to live as healthy as I can for as long as I can.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have two things. So we have our chronological age, how old we are in years, and we have a biological age, how old we actually are biologically. They can actually test that now. It used to be, when I was in college, they used to call it the Hayflick limit, how long cells can last before they divide. There's another guy that came out now, basically, and what he's done, he's able to figure out how old you are actually, biochemically. His name is Steve Horvath. He's probably going to win the Nobel Prize for that. Okay, cardiovascular disease. Number 2?
Number 2, cancer.
Yeah. Yep.
Cancer.
I was right the second time. I should have opened my mouth.
Learn, girl.
All kinds of cancer. Actually, they think within the next few years, cancer is going to replace heart disease as the number one killer, they think.
Taking over in the world.
Oh, interesting little fact. So what happens is all men, when they die, if they did an autopsy on them, all men are going to have prostate cancer. Okay, everybody. The reason is we produce cancer cells every single second, constantly. That's not a problem. What happens though with cancer cells, as long as they stay in that little place, not a problem. When it metastasizes, that's the problem. All women are going to die with breast cancer. They're all going to have cancer cells in their breast. But as long as they don't spread, you're okay. So long as you keep them under control, it's not a problem. Number 3 cause of death.
Diabetes.
I forgot what it is. I'm stressed.
Meditate.
Stroke.
Stroke.
No, that should be number 1.
Nobody got it?
No.
It should.
It should be number 1 because so many people.
Okay, where'd you say diabetes? Where's diabetes? Oh, it's way down.
Oh, 7.
Okay, you got HIV in there. We got suicide, all this stuff. So
I thought pharmaceutical drugs was on that list.
actually, we're going to get into that. Actually, that's
Oh, that's
yeah. I'll get into that. You're right. But they don't list it. They don't list
They don't
it.
want to
But
list that. No.
What did you say? They wouldn't have any money.
pharmaceutical drugs.
okay. Okay. I'm gonna jump to that to address your point. I can't use her name because I had an ear, nose, and throat doctor on my show, and actually twice. And we got to talking, and there's 2 kinds of doctors. One of them basically, right now, there's only 2 major hospitals in Worcester, St. Thieves and UMass. What people don't realize, these doctors are actually employees. They're not on private practice anymore. They're on payroll. So they kind of have to follow what they call standard of care. There's a playbook they have to go by. You come in and your cholesterol's 300, here's your statin. They don't look at your diet, they don't look at nothing. This is a playbook, they have to follow it. In California, if you don't follow standard of care, if you don't follow the playbook, they'll pull your license. This happens to doctors, basically. Then you have doctors that are in private practice. They don't have to follow the playbook. They can kind of do what they think is best. So most of the, not most, all the doctors on my show basically are in private care. I love these guys because they and women, they can think independently. Okay, so what happens is with this particular doctor, I said I believe it's number 4. The number 4 cause of death and statistics is medical error. Medical error. Okay. Same with the pharmacy. You give them the wrong drug or interaction. So that's number 4. I said to her, you know what? I said, you know what? I don't think it's number 4. I think it's number 1. And she agreed with me. You know why? Because if you come in and they say, you know, what's this mole like? Oh, it's no problem. And you die of cancer afterwards. That could be 10 years down the road. That doesn't come down as an error. So actually, they think it's number 4. There's a lot of mistakes made, this and everything else. So one of the rules is you have to be the CEO of your own health. You've got to be like Lucille. How many hours a day do you spend?
The only trouble is the internet gives you different information on different sites, so it's confusing.
And hopefully if you want to email me, come down with, I'll send you studies because you're absolutely right. What happens is big pharma, big agri, they put stuff out there to tell you that eating Twinkies is good for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, sugar's bad, sugar's good. So you have to have trusted sources where you can go from. They don't have a horse in the race. You know, they're not trying to sell you something. So actually, you're right. But again, they don't normally put it up there. Okay. Story for me. Okay, anybody here have any type of tachycardia, any type of like PVCs, you know, your heart jumping out of the chest, nothing like that? Okay. So this is really common. It's called arrhythmias. So what happens is people's hearts beat really, really fast and stuff like that, or they call PVCs, post-ventricular contractions, where it goes up. So what I do is, you guys have heard of Fitbit. Well, I wear something called an Oura Ring, and basically it measures everything. So I know all the time what my heart rate is. I know all this stuff all the time. A few years ago, I turned around, and all of a sudden, I'm in bed, and my heart, boom, boom. I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's scary, right? And so I go to see a cardiologist. He looks at it. Yeah, you got tachycardia. Then he says, I want to send you to an arrhythmia specialist. I go to an arrhythmia specialist, see the arrhythmia specialist. He goes, yeah, you got tachycardia. So one of the main treatment, I don't know if she's here. Did somebody here had their husband do 3 of these ablations? No, not here. Anyway, I talked to somebody yesterday, in fact. She had basically, what's an ablation is, what happens is your heart, basically, you have something called the vagal nerve. It's like a one-way highway going through your body, and it goes over there, and it kind of tells your heart how many times to beat, and it does this stuff. And if it gets messed up, your heart is kind of like electrical. It's going through the whole thing. So what they do with an ablation, they put a tube down here, and they burn out parts of your heart because they want to redo the pathway. So this pathway is messed up. So I want to burn out part of the heart. And that's scary to me because I know, biochemist, your heart muscles don't regrow. When you burn, if your heart is damaged, I had a friend who was a farmer, and he had a heart attack, but his heart was really strong. He lost like 30% of his heart muscle, but the rest part was strong. He was able to get around. But I don't want to deal with that. So I thought about it, and you know, I'm a biochemist. I started doing some research, and I found out that what happens is in hospitals. You guys, anybody here know what a code blue is?
When you're done.
So when I'm in the hospital, when I worked in the hospital, you hear code blue, you're rushing to that room. Code blue, room 22, whatever. Run up there. They have something called the crash cart. Actually, I have a picture of it. They have a crash cart. And all the things to keep you going. Are you a nurse? No. Okay. You seem to, okay. So basically, everything's on there to keep you going. EpiPens, and stuff like that. What they have, an IV, and you know what's in that IV?
Magnesium.
Because the study at a Bethesda hospital, one of the ways to cause...
Coin?
What? Give her a coin. Give her a coin. I don't know who said it.
Magnesium.
You got to keep it. You got to keep it. Those gold coins are valuable. So I look it up. Bethesda Hospital, IV magnesium for just normal people that aren't dying. It cures it. Duh. So I buy a ton of magnesium. Blah blah blah. Gone. If they would have done the ablation, I'll show you. Only about 80% of the ablations actually work. So there's a 20% chance it's not even going to work. They have to do it again. This one woman I talked to, her husband had it 3 times. Do you know how much heart muscle they're destroying there?
Yeah.
In fact, she told me, or maybe somebody emailed me, I don't know. So she told me basically, I've got a friend and they're going to do an ablation on her. I said, have her email me. You got nothing to lose. Just take the damn magnesium. You got nothing to lose, as opposed to burning out part of your heart. Number 2 is what happened. Remember I talked about the Epstein-Barr virus from mononucleosis? I've got that. For some reason, every 2 years this pops up with me. So a few years ago, the same thing happened. My numbers were all messed up, and I knew it was my thyroid. I just knew all the symptoms. So I went to see an endocrinologist, I knew ahead of time what she was going to tell me to do, which I wasn't going to do. And this drug, or to do an ablation, burn out part of this stuff. So I did some research, and I said, what are the two, this is before I knew I had the Epstein-Barr virus that came out again. What are the 2 things? One of them is heavy metals. So I went in and I had a heavy metals test done, mercury, blah, blah, blah. That was clean. Then it says Epstein-Barr virus. I was positive for Epstein-Barr virus. So what happened is, I just got rid of the Epstein-Barr virus. I took a lot of antiviral stuff, coconut stuff like that, all natural stuff, nothing over there. It's gone. So I avoided those 2 major things in terms of burning stuff out. That's not coming back. My heart muscle's not coming back. So before you do something, if you had a surgery or something like that, email me. I'll give you a suggestion, not medical advice. I'll give you a suggestion. Try it. It's all natural stuff. So really, what do you have to lose?
Can you overdose on magnesium?
It's very difficult. Magnesium is water soluble. It's extremely difficult to overdose on magnesium. Oh, here we go. You asked me specifically, can you have a blood test done? A lot of doctors will do a blood test. Only 1% of your magnesium exists in your blood. The other parts exist. This is your blood. Here's the poor magnesium walking away. It goes into your gut. It goes into your muscles. It goes into your bones. So, only a very small percentage is in your blood. So if they draw your blood and say your magnesium is fine, doesn't mean anything. You have to do something called intracellular magnesium. It's actually inside your blood cells. They're not going to do that. So the best thing to do is basically, if you're getting muscle cramps,
What's a good amount to take? I take 500 milligrams a day, plus the multivitamin. I know what's in that.
Okay, you may be, what kind of magnesium are you taking? Oxide, citrate?
I don't know.
Okay, again, the magnesium may not be that bioavailable. So email me and what you have, we'll look at it. And it's pretty hard to overdose. You may, and also they have what they call subdermal magnesium. You need a little spray bottle and spray it on there, and it'll go right through your skin.
Fit my whole body in it.
They have
Put a ponytail and just dip.
Epsom salt baths, right? Epsom salt baths. And also it detoxes you. I talked about this already, AFib. That's a big thing, by the way, AFib. This is my ablation I was talking about. Not good. Okay, again, the numbers here, about 80% actually work, so 20% don't work. Still good odds, but I don't want my heart burned if I don't have to.
I had one.
guys heard of cardiomyopathy? This is the whole big thing with the COVID thing, you know, with the jabs. A lot of athletes are coming down with cardiomyopathy. Basically, it's just, you know, the heart being damaged. I'm not going to get into the debate whether it's caused by the vaccine or not, but they're coming up with it. So if you know somebody that has cardiomyopathy, because magnesium is so important for the heart, it also helps. It also helps with that. This is the crash cart I talked about. Okay. Oh, other thing. Okay, not for another prize. You guys, you ladies should know this. What's preeclampsia?
Water retention.
No.
No, high blood pressure. Kidneys, isn't it?
Okay, right here.
High blood pressure.
So what happens with some women when they
maternity.
go into maternity, they go into preeclampsia. It causes a lot of problem. On the crash cart, okay, is the magnesium. So it's really important if you have kids or grandkids or friends that are going to be pregnant, have them load up on the magnesium. Other thing they want to load up is basically on omega-3s, fish oil, because babies need that. They need the EPA and the DHA into the brain. So whatever the mother's taking in, the baby gets. So those are the two things. Anybody know what a doula is?
It's like a midwife, but
Yeah.
another person that she did is you talks through things and helps you with babies,
collecting
but
the
she's
gold
not a
coins.
medical.
So I had a doula on my
Go to the
show,
bag.
okay, and we talked about that.
Instead of going in the hospital to deliver.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
and a lot of they have natural deliveries now where they actually deliver the baby in water.
Right.
And do you guys know that babies can actually swim
Yeah.
when they're born?
That's
They de-learn,
amazing.
they de-learn, is that a word, de-learn? They unlearn.
I learned.
No, it isn't amazing.
So, you know, so I'm saying it's you know, the other thing, during the fetus, do you guys know during the whole fetal phase when they grow up, do you know that babies actually have gills as part of fetal development?
No, I never knew that.
Because the whole thing, Darwin, you know, in evolutionary biology, we believe that we came from the ocean. You guys ever hear of lungfishes? They actually come out of the ocean. So they think at one time, you know, basically that we had gills. Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
There is a saying about that, but I don't know it.
I don't know. Okay, which form is the best? This gets complicated. Okay, glycinate. This is called chelation. So magnesium is bound to something else. There's something called glycine. Glycine is an amino acid. It's the smallest amino acid in your body. They believe glycine was the first amino acid existed on Earth. It's so important. So the magnesium binds to the glycinate like this. So this is really good for sleep, anxiety, headaches. Oh, magnesium for migraines. Okay. Okay. Another question. Does anybody know what they believe they believe the main what causes migraines?
Stress.
Kinda. No. What's something more exact?
No, it has to do with the
Food? No.
Lack of magnesium.
Well, yeah. That's give them a coin anyway.
Oh, I got it,
They
I got
believe
one.
it's the blood vessels in the
finally got
brain that
one.
are spasming. And that's what's causing the migraine. So what happens is, what things magnesium does is it basically relaxes your blood vessel. It helps with high blood pressure. It relaxes the blood vessel. So magnesium does a lot of different things. You have a question?
Yes, why is the blood spasming? What is the cause of it?
Lack of magnesium.
micro.
It could be a lot of things. What happens is there's a genetic predisposition for migraines. Okay, it absolutely has it. But they found that magnesium. The other trick you can do for a person with migraines, open up your freezer and take in a bunch of deep breaths of cold air, and also that'll stop it. So there's a huge predisposition for it with that. So again, I think you want to, the magnesium, she needs it anyway. So
I go out in the morning.
Which one?
I've been doing it in the morning.
basically,
First one.
this and this. I would try the 3 and 8. I'll go to 3 and 8 in a second.
My nose is
No.
So the 3 and 8, basically, it's the only magnesium that crosses the blood-brain barrier. Your blood-brain barrier kind of protects your brain from stuff getting in there. It's like a stop light. Only certain things can come in. So they let 3 and 8 in. Anybody with dementia, Alzheimer's, anything like that, 3 and 8. I'm going to do a whole thing on dementia and Alzheimer's at some point because there's a lot of stuff you can do that they're not telling you can do. So 3 and 8 crosses the blood-brain. Citrate, we talked about that, right? That's before you have the colonoscopy. You get a tendency of being basically constipated, the citrate. Malate, people with chronic fatigue syndrome, pain, insomnia, fibromyalgia, malate's good for that. 3 and 8, taurate, orthotate, that's really good for, it's a high absorbability, it helps the heart, and chloride, the leg cramps, spasms.
But these are all different kinds of magnesium,
Yeah.
correct? So
Yeah.
how can you take multiples?
Oh yeah. You could. Well, I take 2. I take 3 and 8, and I take 3 and 8 and the glycinate. I take 1 in the morning and 1 at night. But if you're having the cramps, you may want to go with the chloride. Have that
I
around.
have severe fibromyalgia, so.
Yeah. So again, it's bound to something else, and that's what makes it work. So that's why the magnesium you're taking may be the wrong kind of magnesium. See, everybody's confused. They think it's all the same. It's not all the same.
So you're saying the pain one, is that good for like joints?
Yeah. Muscle spasms, joints.
So that would be the
Knees, shoulders.
Yeah.
melanate?
Malinate.
In the essential silver,
Take
like
'em
that
all.
multivitamin, it says it
Right on.
contains
I know.
what kind of magnesium.
Well, you'll have to look that
All
up.
right, I know, I didn't.
The other thing,
It's confusing.
it's very, very hard to get everything from one pill. It's very, very hard. Because, okay, we've got the farm girl here. So, stand up, farm girl.
I thought that was
That's
Vanna.
Deanna.
She changed.
She identifies now as farm girl.
She was a farm girl too?
I have several names.
The soil right now we have in this country, maybe not your farm, is it as fertile as it used to be?
No,
And can you tell us why that is?
because we killed it
And how do we kill it?
by giving it too much pesticides. Too
Pesticides.
many chemicals.
Yeah.
But no, the other thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the farm girl.
Anybody else want to take my spot?
So, you ever heard about mono-agriculture, monocropping? What they do is to save it, they grow the same thing and the same thing over and over again. It takes all of the nutrients out of the soil. What you want to do is regenerative farming, where you rotate the crops to different places. Farmers, local farmers, not big agra, that's what they used to do because they knew how to do the farm. But right now you only have about 40 to 50% of the same magnesium as in the old days. So even though you're eating healthy, your vegetables and the rest of this stuff, you're not getting the same amount. So it's very, very hard to get it. I know everybody says get it from your food. It's hard to get it from your food because it's just the nutrients are not in there.
Drawn out, you know.
And they're trying to drive, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're trying to drive small farmers out of business.
Yes.
I mean, the government subsidize soybeans, and soybeans, it's GMO, and they spray it with glyphosate and Roundup. They're subsidizing corn, again, bad stuff, but they're not subsidizing small farmers, okay? You like this word? Okay. So remember, I say everybody is different. Okay.
Plastic something,
Yeah,
poly,
yeah. Yes.
Who anybody who's had Latin can probably figure it out. So basically, what a polymorphism is, it's also called a SNP. So what happens in your genes? You have one part of your gene that could be a little bit off. So we all have different. A good example, a polymorphism. I have blue eyes, and maybe you have brown eyes. So it's a little change. So there's very specific genes that make us different. That make you deficient in some things, or it may make you really good in some things. The analogy I like to make: we're all dealt cards in life. You may have. I get some good cards. I get some bad cards. So there's a book called Bad Genes, and what they talk about There's some bad cards you get in there. Is anybody here of either of Mediterranean descent, Italian, Greek? No? French? Okay, you're okay. So there's a gene, it's called the SNP, or polymorphism. It's called the MTHFR gene. And my wife has this. So my wife basically, I had my genetics tested, her genetics test. She has the MTHFR gene. What that means is she cannot metabolize vitamin B very well. In other words, I could give her vitamin B till the cows come home. Excuse that.
She doesn't have cows, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So she can't make it. So what happens is there's something called, another test you should get is called homocysteine. Homocysteine, basically what it is, if you can't metabolize vitamin B correctly, you produce a waste product. At least it can lead to heart disease. So my wife's homocysteine is through the roof. So I knew it was a vitamin B deficiency. So I had to load her up on twice the amount of vitamin B that everybody else gets, okay? And a lot of people, 40% of the population have this gene. It's especially prevalent among basically, Italians, stuff like that. So you don't know that. That's why you're saying, well, how much should I take? Well, maybe you have a polymorphism or of a SNP where you can't metabolize magnesium very well. Everybody's different. That's why I think don't guess tests. So find out what it is, find out what you have, or if it's not working, you may be able to take. The owner of New Kitchen, Josh, a good friend of mine, he owns 3 coffee shops. He can't drink coffee because you methylate. Your body absorbs basically caffeine. Some people get really hyped up. I can drink coffee until all day because you have this polymorphism that lets you metabolize coffee very, very quickly. When I was like younger, we used to go out basically, and we went the date. We used to call her a cheap date because we give her a couple of drinks, and you're okay. So this, I'm looking at you, Lucky. I'm looking at you. So everybody's different. Okay, everybody's different. So it just depends. It just depends on. So again, what may work for me may not work for you.
We have to leave for that next class.
Okay, so we're gonna stop here. If anybody wants to email me and basically ask me what you want me to cover next week, what do you think about dementia, Alzheimer's? Is that a good topic?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you stuff. If you know anybody you've got a spouse with dementia, or if you just want to keep your brain sharp, this will relate to everybody. So if you got it social media, if you're on whatever, send it out and say, this crazy guy is going to talk about this stuff. I guarantee you'll take away from this something you haven't heard before. Thanks so much for coming. I appreciate it. You got my cards. Just email me if you have any questions. How many coins?
2 coins.
Okay, there's 2.
You got more than 2 coins.
Down there. Not us.
Oh, I get 2 coins.
2 coins, that's it?
That's
You
it.
got 2
$10.
coins?
I got one.
One, okay, she gets one. Who gets, how many coins you got? One? You got ties.
You got 3 ones over here. You got one?
You got
I
one.
got
Here you
one.
go.
One
You
here.
got
I'm going to give you one because he got one last time.
He gave me his coin.
Okay, it's a 10.
I got one.
Alright,
I
you
got
got
one.
one.
New kitchen.
I got one last.
You can ask her.
Okay.
She knows about it.
You get one. Okay.
I got one last week.
Give me
I
that.
gave.
Okay.
Sure you don't want it?
I'm
My granddaughter.
Okay.
I have no idea where it is. I don't put the list of that up. Oh, up on Chandler Street.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
good.
Okay, she got one from last week.
Okay.
So you get the key.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I try to stay out of work.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yep.
Here's
Well,
your
my
coins
granddaughter
back.
always wants me to go there, but it's about a $40.
Actually, I'm working on that. I may be able to get you one. I'm working on it right now, as a matter of fact. I know I know a company that's doing it. I got to verify that they're legit.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Give it to your
Oh, thanks for
My
coming.
granddaughter.
Give it to your
Oh,
granddaughter.
that would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, I passed it on. I gave it to her, because I'm not driving into
When I
Bristol.
go there.
That you have to go early. But
Chandler Street, all that.
yeah,
It's a
'cause-
gift certificate. It's a
yeah,
restaurant.
I usually go like in the morning or like after one.
Yeah, I just something, don't drive.
I'm done. One of the most common questions I'm asked as a biochemist and health coach is what are the best supplements to take? Choosing supplements is a tricky business. Many companies have poor quality control and questionable ingredients. In the past, I had to send clients to several different websites. I am now able to offer one-stop shopping for all the quality brands I recommend with no shipping cost and a lower price in most cases. Just email me, philgeorge@charter.net for a free consult.